Good morning, students. Welcome to today's online classes. In our last class, we introduced the topic combustion and the condition essential for the process of combustion. Now, today we are going to learn about the topic types of combustion. As you know that combustion is very important to produce energy. So, be it any type of combustion, energy is produced and therefore it is used for many such processes. Now, let's see what are the different types of combustion. Now, on the basis of some factors like whether the combustion take place fast or slow, whether it requires any external heat, or whether it is taking place at ignition temperature or not, the combustion can be divided into 4 different types. First, slow combustion. Second, rapid combustion. Third, spontaneous combustion. And last is explosion. Now let's see what are the basic attributes related to all these 4 types of combustion and how they are different from each other. I'm going to first write the process, the definition of combustion, that when any combustible substance do note this in your notebook, undergoes combustion without attaining ignition temperature this is called slow combustion. Rapid combustion is when any combustible substance is given external heat to produce combustion, that is rapid combustion. Now, what is spontaneous combustion? Now, spontaneous means instantly, when something happened just in an instant manner. So मतलब तुरंत, तो स्पॉन्टेनियस कम्बशन क्या हुआ, जब तुरंत जो है कम्बशन शुरू हो जाता है, तो स्पॉन्टेनियस कम्बशन में हुआ व्हेन एनी कंबस्टिबल सब्सटेंस burns instantly without external heat, that is spontaneous combustion. And the last one is explosion. This combustion takes place when pressure is applied and it produces large amount of heat and light. Now, as you have seen that all these 4 different type of combustion is different from each other. Here, as you can see, there is no ignition temperature. This process is very slow. This is a slow process. Compared to this is a much faster. This process is spontaneous. And this is very fast process. A few more points which will be included here is that it does not require external heat. Point is that slow combustion produce little or no heat and light. Like in the case of digestion or respiration, you will see there is no heat and light emitted. Whereas in rapid combustion, heat and light is produced. In spontaneous combustion also, heat and light is produced, but lesser than rapid combustion. In case of explosion, not only heat and light is produced, sound also is accompanied in the process. So heat, light and sound is produced in large amount. Now let's close this topic with examples. In case of slow combustion, example is digestion. Rapid combustion, example is burning of LPG. In case of spontaneous combustion, example is burning of phosphorus. Now, very good example is forest fire. You may have heard about the recent forest fire which took place in Amazon rainforest and Uttarakhand forest. That is also a very good example of forest fire. Forest fires are a natural calamity which causes a lot of destruction to the land, to the plants and to the wildlife. The last one is explosion, which example can be seen in burning of crackers. So there are more examples into it. You will write one more example by yourself and you will note down all these points into your notebook. So I am going to conclude this topic by mentioning the types of combustion again: slow combustion, rapid combustion, spontaneous combustion and explosion. Now, before moving into the next topic, I would like to add one point that in case of spontaneous combustion, the forest fires are very good example. Forest fire, as you may have been hearing a lot of news about forest fire, like the Amazon rainforest fires, Uttarakhand forest fires. These forest fires are a very good example of spontaneous combustion, and these forest fires are natural calamities which affect a lot of wild animals, wildlife, and it also causes deforestation. So fire can be very dangerous also. In our last few years, we have seen lot of uses of fire. Means the early men used to use fire for a lot of their good uses. For example, they used to cook their food, they used to warm themselves, and they used to protect themselves from any kind of danger. And from that time, from that era to this era, fire has been used in many uses. So it has got very useful applications. But it is not always that fires are very useful. Number of times when it goes out of control, fire can be very dangerous. Means अगर हम फायर को कंट्रोल में नहीं रखेंगे तो फायर बहुत सारे नुकसान कर सकता है. जैसे कि फॉरेस्ट फायर में हमने देखा, एक नेचुरल कैलेमिटी है, बट जब ये आग लग जाती है तो कई महीनों तक, कई दिनों तक ये चलती रहती है, जिसके कारण बड़े बड़े क्षेत्र में जो जंगल है वो अफेक्टेड होते हैं. ये तो एक नेचुरल कैलेमिटी है. बट अगर हमारे घर के आसपास कहीं फायर होती है, कहीं पर अगर आग जलती है, तो हम कैसे उससे कंट्रोल कर सके. कंट्रोल करना भी बहुत जरूरी है फायर को. सो ना नेक्स्ट टॉपिक इज हाउ डू वी कंट्रोल फायर. Now fire can be controlled by several ways. Every city has a fire brigade, and you should always have a number of fire brigade in your phone, so that if any mishap happens, any kind of fire is break out in your locality or anywhere near you, you can call them up and they can help you in extinguishing the fire. So how the fire can be extinguished? Like in case at home, if a small accident happened and a small fire is lighted up, then it can be easily extinguished with the help of water. So water can be a way by which the fire can be extinguished. But water cannot be used in many type of fires. For example, if the fire is on an electricity board, then you cannot use water. Or if the fire is due to the combustible substance like petrol or diesel, then again you cannot use water. Now, how does water control fire? Water lower down the ignition temperature of the fire to extinguish it. Now, if you remember in my first class, I told you about that there are three main conditions required for the combustion or the fire. One, ignition temperature. Second, the supporter of combustion, and third, the combustible substance. If we remove any of these, at least any one of these, then the fire can be controlled. So the first way by which the fire can be controlled is water. Water is majorly used as a fire extinguisher, but not in many places. It can be used to extinguish fire which is being on the furniture or something like that. But you cannot use this water in places like electricity board, or if the fire is by petrol or diesel. The next one is carbon dioxide, which is used as fire extinguisher. Now, if you have seen carefully, you may have seen in many places there is red color cylinder installed. अगर आपने ध्यान से देखा होगा तो कई जगह पर संस्थाओं में, स्कूल्स में, हॉस्पिटल्स में एक रेड कलर का सिलेंडर जिसपे फायर एक्सटिंग्विशर लिखा होता है वो इंस्टॉल किया जाता है. ये फायर एक्सटिंग्विशर जो है वो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड से भरा होता है, जिसको बहुत ज्यादा प्रेशर करके उसमें फिल किया जाता है. तो जब फायर एक्सटिंग्विशर हम इस्तेमाल करते हैं, दिस कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड just cover up the fire, cutting down the supply of the oxygen, which is supporter of combustion, and extinguishing the fire. So if the fire cannot be extinguished easily by water, in all those places we can use the carbon dioxide fire extinguisher. Here the ignition temperature is lower down, but here it is cutting off the supply of the oxygen to extinguish fire. Now, many number of times different type of other type of fire extinguisher is also used, is a foam extinguisher. This foam extinguisher has a mixture of sodium bicarbonate plus aluminium sulfate, which is kept in different section, and when this foam extinguisher is used, then the extinguisher is inverted and these two mix together and then it is applied on the fire. Now what kind of fire can be extinguished in case of foam extinguisher? Where the cause of the fire is a flammable liquid fuel. In that case we can use foam extinguisher. Apart from these, many other ways of extinguishing fire are, for example, sand. Sand is used if the fire is very small and you can just put a lot of sand on that so that the supply of oxygen is cut. Or if a person catches fire accidentally due to some reason, we can wrap up the person in a thick blanket and we can roll the person on the ground so that the fire is extinguished. So there are many ways. The main objective is to control fire, because if fire is not in control, it can create havoc, as we have seen in our recent past, where number of times the fire get out of control, burning lot of property, affecting people and killing them, and even in the forest also number of wild animals get killed. Sometimes if this fire get extended to number of months, and it is affecting the whole ecosystem. So here I have mentioned out three ways by which the fire can be controlled. We can add few more like sand. Always remember that in any of these ways, the main thing they are doing is either they are removing the combustible substance, either they are lowering down the temperature, the ignition temperature, so that the fire cannot continue, or else the supply of oxygen is cut down. So basically all the 3 points which we have discussed in case of condition required for combustion: oxygen, ignition temperature, and fuel. If any of these three is removed, the fire will be controlled, and therefore we can control fire by any of these manner. The most common one used is the carbon dioxide fire extinguisher. You may have seen it many places. Now let's move to the next topic. If you remember, the very first activity which we did in this chapter was about magnesium ribbon. When magnesium ribbon burns, it burns with a white dazzling light. Why does it produce white dazzling light? Because it is producing a flame. Now, some of the combustible substance produces flame, while some does not produce flame. What is the reason behind it? We are going to study in this topic, which is called as flame. Now, answering the question which I gave you, that why some combustible substance burns with a flame and while some not, because it is a zone of burning vapor. What it means? It means that combustible substances which vaporizes while burning produces flame. This flame can be of different colors, and by the help of the color of the flame we can tell whether the combustion is complete, incomplete or partial. How? We'll discuss that in the next topic. Before that, I am going to give you example of those combustible substance which burns to produce flame, like LPG, biogas, wax, kerosene oil, mustard oil, and many more. So these are those which produce flame, and the combustible substance which does not produce flame is like coal. It does not produce flame at all when it is burning. So we will move to the next topic about what are the different zone of the flame and how we can understand the topic of complete combustion and incomplete combustion plus partial combustion. Now let's understand the zones of the flame. I am going to draw a diagram which you have to note down in your notebook. Here I am going to draw a candle. You may have seen this number of times at home when you are lighting up a candle. I hope the diagram is very clear to all of you. Now you can see I have drawn 3 different zones. They are the different zones of the flame and they are called as outermost zone, middle zone and innermost zone. Always remember to label the diagram on only one side. Do not label on both of the sides. I have told you number of times. I am repeating this thing again. Now here I have used a candle to show you the flame, the different zones of the flame. Now burning of candle and producing the flame is actually both a chemical and a physical process. Means candle burns to produce a flame and it melts down to give a physical change. Now when the candle is burning to produce flame, the flame has different zones. This zone you may have seen is of blue color, and if you refer to your textbook for this, whereas this zone will be complete yellow. So there are 3 different zones which can be easily classified by the color of the zone, the color of the color of the zone and the heat of the zone. Means the different zones have different colors plus different heat to them. The outermost zone is very hot. It is the hottest part of the flame. Whereas you will find a little bit less heatness here, and whereas this is the dark zone. Here it is not very much heat present over here, so they can be easily classified on the basis of whether they are having a hot zone or whether they are having there is no heat at all. That can also be understood in this. That I will tackle down while discussing about the important characteristics of outermost zone, middle zone and innermost zone. Let's learn more about the different zones of the flame. As you can see, I have drawn a diagram over here depicting the different zone, and I have classified the zones into 3 different columns. I am going to write some points related to the characteristics of the different zone. Note down that in your notebook. If you look into the outermost zone, which is slightly blue in color, so this zone has a complete combustion. Now if you move to the next zone, that is yellow in color, so this zone has a partial combustion, whereas the innermost zone does not have any kind of combustion, so incomplete combustion or no combustion. The outermost zone is hottest, means it has a highest temperature, so it is the hottest part of the flame of the candle. This is less hot, and this is not at all, this is very dark zone. This zone is also called as luminous zone, non-luminous zone, whereas this is a luminous zone and this is a dark zone. Generally, the substances, the combustible substance which has a complete combustion produces the blue flame. Whereas in some combustible substance, like in the case of candle, there is a mixture of the combustion, like the outermost is having complete combustion, the middle one is having an incomplete combustion, so it is having a yellow color flame. That yellow color flame will produce soot if you or unburnt carbon particles if you place something in the center of the luminous zone, whereas it is preceded with a dark zone. The dark zone does not have any kind of combustion, and right at the end of the wick of the candle, you will see a very slight small blue zone that is due to the combustion of carbon monoxide. Now this is a different zones which can be seen easily in the candle flame. Every combustible substance have a different kind of flame. Now let's understand the different zone of the candle flame by some activities. Here I am going to explain an activity which is given at the page number 93, and this activity is activity 5.5. You can refer the book for that. Here I have written down the aim of the activity, that to show that the innermost zone of the candle flame consists of unburnt wax vapors. And for that we need some materials, that is candle, pair of tongs, thin glass tube, matchbox. अगर आपको कंफ्यूजन हो कि ये पेयर ऑफ टोंग्स क्या होते हैं, तो ये कुछ इस तरीके के जो चिमटा हम अपने घरों में इस्तेमाल करते हैं, जिससे हम गर्म बर्तन उठाते हैं या चीजें उठाते हैं. दैट इज कैन बी अ गुड एग्जांपल ऑफ पेयर ऑफ टोंग्स व्हिच इज यूज्ड एट होम. लैब में थोड़ा डिफरेंट टाइप का रहता है. नाउ व्हाट हाउ वी आर गोइंग टू डू दिस एक्सपेरिमेंट. फॉर दैट यू हैव टू लाइटन अप एन कैंडल. And you have to take a thin glass tube. ग्लास का बना हुआ ट्यूब लेना है, पतला सा. यहाँ मैं अलग से बना रही हूँ. ये हॉलो ग्लास ट्यूब रहेगा, और we have to insert that, bring that glass tube near the innermost zone. Since it will be very hot while you are using it, so you need to hold this with the help of a tong. Now, after some time, when you bring a burning matchstick near the other end of the glass tube, you will see that there is a flame produced over here. Now, this flame is due to the wax vapors which was present here, which was unburned, and it travels, some of it travels through the glass tube since it was hollow, khali tha, khokla tha, to this end. And when we are bringing a matchstick here, it is burning to produce a flame. So it shows that the innermost zone of candle flame consists of unburnt wax vapors. Now let's discuss the next activity. This is activity 5.6, and it is again in the page number 93. Now the aim of the activity is to show that the middle zone of the candle flame consists of unburnt carbon particles. The materials required is similar to what we have done in the first activity. Only one thing is added, that is a glass sheet. Now here is the middle zone, if you remember, and if you remember the characteristics, the middle zone is luminous zone with partial combustion or incomplete combustion. How we can prove that the partial combustion is leaving unburnt carbon particles? For that we are going to do this activity. For that you have to lighten up a candle and place it on a table. Use a glass sheet with the help of a pair of tongs. And place the glass sheet under the luminous zone. For some time, you will see that the glass sheet will have a ring of black mark, which is the soot or unburnt carbon particle. Now, since this is a partial combustion taking place here, therefore the combustible substance is not burning properly, leaving unburnt carbon particles. All those combustible substances where complete combustion take place, the blue flame is seen, like in the case of LPG. When it is burning in your gas stove, it is completely blue, it is not leaving any residue. But wherever there is an incomplete combustion, there will be definitely unburnt carbon particles left, and that unburned carbon particles can be seen as form of soot, the black soot, which is seen in vehicles also. You may have seen that the exhaust of the vehicles contain soot in them. So this can be easily seen through this activity. This is the last activity of this topic, activity 5.7, again in the page number 93. The aim of the activity is to show that the outermost zone of the candle flame is the hottest, and materials required for this activity is same. Only one thing I have added here is a copper wire. Now what we have to do in this activity, again you have to lighten up a candle with the help of a matchstick and place it on a table. Now with the help of a pair of tongs, place the copper wire in the non-luminous zone or the outermost zone for some time. After a few minutes, when you take it out of the outermost zone, you will see that it has become red hot, and we can bend it into any shape with the help of pair of tongs. Now why it has become red hot? Because this is the hottest part. Here the complete combustion is taking place. So this is the hottest part of the candle, and therefore it is being used by goldsmith to make the jewelries of gold and silver. अगर आपने देखा होगा तो जो सुनार होते हैं, जो गोल्डस्मिथ होते हैं, वो कैरोसिन लैम्प का जो सबसे हॉटेस्ट पार्ट होता है, जो आउटर मोस्ट जोन होता है, उसको ब्लो करके ही गोल्ड और सिल्वर की ज्वेलरीज में जो है डिजाइन बनाते हैं, उसका इस्तेमाल करते हैं. सो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट द डिफरेंट जोन्स एंड देयर कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स.